Welcome back to Lake Placid, New York for the second run of the women's skeleton competition in the BMW IBSF World Cup. Again, it's the second event of the season, both held here in Lake Placid. Exciting first run. Didn't get near the track records, but pretty much the same cast of characters are top of the leaderboard. What'd you think, Greg?
I thought we had some interesting results, some names you're used to. Mimi Reneva, the Canadian, big 5:28 start time, 55:29 coming down the track, sees herself in third place after the first run, a position that we're kind of used to seeing her. Pretty good lines for the Canadian. Once again, she learned to slide on this track, so she knows it very well. Sitting in second, no surprise here to see her in the medals at the moment. Jacqueline Mulligan, the German, big speed late. She had the 19th fastest start time, that we're used to that, but drives herself into second place with a 55:25. Huge speed, had 2 kilometers an hour on the field going through the bottom of the track. And then the Russian queen, Elena Nikitina, 5:07 on the start time, only 0.04 a second off the start record, and she slipped. So that could be an interesting storyline to watch in her next run. She's got a huge lead of almost a half a second, 47 hundredths in the bag. Great start, good run, hard to beat it.
And she's only 700ths off the track record, so without that slip, she could do it in the second run. Huge lead, an eternity of time in this sport, measured to hundredths of seconds. Look at the United States, Kendall Westenberg, fourth, just outside the podium. Top 20 sleds qualified for the second run. Sun's coming out, things are clearing up here in Lake Placid, so track conditions, we could see that track record in the second run. 21 through 24 did not qualify. Laura Dees, the Olympic bronze medalist from Pyeongchang, did not qualify for the second run. That's the persona of what this Lake Placid track can do. Greg, how much changing of the runners or anything anybody going to do in the second run?
Well, it's warming up pretty quick here. We started off with a cool -3 air temperature. It's actually back up to right about freezing right now. So I think you'll see some adjustments in the rock or the bow of the runner to compensate for that additional temperature in the air. You want to decrease friction and put it right on the edge of control. That's what I would do, but I'm not racing. I'm here with you.
Yeah, well, it's more comfortable in here. Stretching of the hamstrings, warming up. This is a track and field event, really, at the first 50, 60 meters, and then it becomes a thrill seeker on ice competition after they get on that sled and they achieve 75 miles an hour. There's one of the favorites to win a medal. There's our young Czech athlete. Here's our start list. They go worst to first. Sophia Greevil. She had another bad run. There's so much pressure on her to produce because, what do you say about the German team?
They don't rebuild.
They
reload.
Replace. And here's our Kelly Delica. She qualified from Puerto Rico. It's her first ever qualifying for the second heat. And all the way down to Nikitina. It's her race to lose. Kendall Westenberg, she's medaled here last year, third place. She's running the outside looking in. Going to need a good second run. And here's an accomplished slider, Sophia Greevil. Can't believe she might be her worst finish of her career in a heat. This is an athlete who pretty familiar with being on the podium.
5:36 in the first heat. The groove looks like they've straightened it out, but slower start time. 5:44. So if she's wanting to make a big move moving up, that's not going to help.
Maybe
and neither is that tap on the exit in turn 1.
She's third place at the World Championships last year. So to her to be in the 20th position, maybe she's hurt because that start time, or it just gets sticky up there.
Yeah, there could be
we don't
a
know
zillion
yet.
things.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but we'll find out. If this is the first athlete down.
1:10.3, still not a lot of speed in the German sled. Slower than her first heat. Now the track may have gone away a little bit with the temperature going up as fast as it is. 1:15.5 though, that is pretty good speed at the bottom. She's setting the benchmark for this second heat right now.
Great form, great bullet form. The feet haven't come out. Uphill section coming up in the track. Got to be clean here. You can't tell how uphill it is. 56.07. That's 17 hundredths better than her first run. I wouldn't think her first run was one of her worst of her career, and I don't think that one's much better.
Yeah, there was a lot of little mistakes in there, energy loss, but typically the track slows down when it's warming up like this. She just went 17 hundredths faster where everybody else is probably going to be slower. So it could make some interesting parity here as the second heat progresses.
She could move up 4 or 5 spots, though.
See her exit turn 1 here, right into the left wall.
Yep.
Oops. that.
Can't make any mistakes up there, huh?
No, you're just losing all that speed in that long straightaway. Handles the exit of turn 3 well, right down the pipe, dropping into the Devil's Highway. See her exit turn 14, almost disappears behind the elbow. Comes over here and clips that left wall going into 17, but, well.
That's an unhappy leader right there.
Yeah. Good thing about being in 20th, you're guaranteed leader box time.
Yeah, you're in the leader box. So here comes our next athlete from Puerto Rico. Her first time she's ever qualified, Kelly Delica.
Here we go, Kelly. Come on. Let's go.
Former U.S. slider, recently switched to slide from Puerto Rico.
She lives in Rio Grande, Puerto Rico, and former track and field athlete.
Hundreds of runs down this Lake Placid track.
College pole vault.
5.54, so she also slows down a little bit on the start.
Yeah.
Maybe the start ramp just slower.
Well, there's high winds going on, which means a weather front coming in here to the Adirondacks. And they're projecting rain tomorrow. And that temperature change.
She's bleeding speed right now. She was 800s back, now back to 1900s. She's going to need a really good shady if she wants a chance to hold her spot. 2200s, she needs a great exit.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's the worst thing you could do is hit at the exit of shady where you want to slingshot yourself down to the bottom part of the track.
108.8, way down on speed.
Still, first time she's ever made a cut. It's her personal best. Anytime you come out here and achieve personal bests, then you improve in the sport.
Yep, racing against yourself. Sometimes
there you
we
go.
forget that.
Nothing wrong with that. And there's a little bit of racing against yourself right here.
Sparks.
She hit there too, 57.07. So she's a full 8,500 slower than she was in the first run. But I think that had to do with the way she came down the track. Mistakes out of shady, mistakes in the uphill section out of 19. That's 30, 40 hundreds right there.
Yeah, it's just not quite as clean. She had a pretty good first run. She hit all the major high points. We see her here coming down the start ramp. Gets that toe out.
Not sure of herself. Nobody's sure of themselves coming there. There's the, where do you want to be? Above that Lake Placid? On the Lake Placid?
For the skeleton athletes, you kind of want to go below the L, but out through the D, if that makes sense. But you don't want to clip the inside of the wall on the exit.
Or
and
there.
Right here. Look at the sparks.
Fire and ice. First time we've seen it today. It won't be the last.
That means there's no ice left on that wall.
Yeah. Means a lot of people were hitting there. Now our next up is another British athlete, Kimberly Murray. She's finished 20th in this. No, she didn't qualify for this event last week. She finished 22nd. So she's in the field here in the second run.
I think she's going to be happy to go home after this. I think she's had her fill of Lake Placid.
She's been here for North America's Cup. Been a long couple weeks over here.
Strong start though. All the British girls know how to push. She pushed 5.40 in the first heat. Gets kicked over late into turn 1, 5.37, but a big skid going into turn 1, so that erases all of that goodwill she had in the sled.
Long jumper, lives in Bath.
Hangs it up a bit on the exit 3, wrong side of the straightaway, going into 4. She's just a little off everywhere.
Now it's going to continue to bleed more time, that mistake up top. You can't gain that. Once you make that mistake, that's over.
Sitting in third right now, 3/10 back, 108.9. We'll see if her compared to Kelly Delica, they're similar in speed. She'll need a good bottom. Disappears behind the elbow, 114.0, big skid going into 17.
Still, now she's moved up into second. If she gets through the uphill section, she can solidly be in second here.
Flop out of 18. She's got to avoid the wall, and she does.
She does, second. So there, another personal best for this young athlete from Great Britain. She finishes in 19th place. Last week she finished in 22nd.
It's an improvement.
Both, 2 of the 3 sleds. Now Sophia Greevil can't say that.
Yeah,
it's
well,
not her personal best.
No, but she's up 2, so she has improved on her first heat. Silver lining. No, not with the Germans? Okay.
That's the top 10 maybe, but I don't think she's going to get all the way to top 10. Again, struggling out of the grooves, everybody, and then the high on the takeout, and then, boy, you disappear like that behind that elbow.
It makes for a long slide
and
down the
skid there,
chicane.
too. You see the big eyes. You'd have big eyes, too, at 73 miles an hour. What's that like down there?
Well, I can tell you what she was thinking, but they'd have to bleep it out, so.
So she's going to go over and say congratulations to Sophia Greevil. Now we get up to our first American, Meghan Henry.
Megan's looking to go hunting here. She doesn't like being back here. She's had a really good beginning of the season in Lake Placid, and what's been interesting with her is it's been her driving and not necessarily just her start time that's been putting her in these positions. So
Ninth best start in the first run, this U.S. Army representative.
I think she's going to go low 20s, high teens here if she gets behind it. Good looking start so far.
33 in the first run.
That's pedestrian for her. 28, so she does
Big
improve.
improvement.
3/10 in the bag. If she comes through one, that's a much better one than she had on her first run.
Since we are in the Christmas moment, her favorite film, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
So you're in the highway. She's stretched out 4/10 of a lead, a little late going into turn 6.
A lot of time, boy. 4100ths for this little diminutive athlete from Roxbury, Connecticut. Went to American University, played field hockey.
Takes the long way around Shady. 109.9 though, good, pretty good speed. Hangs it out in 12.
That's the highest line we've seen there, but she exited pretty good.
John Montgomery said in the air there's less friction.
2900ths, 113.8. She's bleeding time back. Should be the leader. She's still got the #1 markings all the way down so far. Can't hit going uphill, and she does tap a little bit. 12, 56.10. There she is. 100th off her first heat time. 56.09, 56.10. Pretty good slide for Meghan Henry. She's the leader.
So what we're seeing here after these first couple sleds is the track has not gotten faster, but the track has not gotten slower. She's within 100th of a second of herself. I'd say that's pretty consistent. But I think she left a little bit out there. She probably wants that one back.
Coach Tuffy Latour.
4 sleds down for
There's our WCAP U.S. Army athlete.
USA, Germany.
She'll go to the leaders box.
Sitting 1, 2, and 3 as we progress.
A lot of green on that sled, Megan. It's like me on green. Go figure.
Well, crossover here, head, good form. Feet a little bit apart. How would you rate that?
I think it's pretty good form through the 6-7. Now
How about
12, a little bit airborne, but she sticks to the landing.
She does
so
stick to landing.
that's a local knowledge, knowing it's not going to actually flip over. It's just going to feel like it's going to flip over.
So Meghan Henry from the United States is our leader.
Start 1 for Maddie.
Next up from Canada, Madison Charney.
See what Maddie can do here. 5:42 in the first heat. Coached by Eric Berganotis, former U.S. slider, multiple World Cup medalist. I believe he won a race on this track. 5:43, so a little bit behind herself at the start by 100th of a second.
Calgary athlete, her background, rugby.
See what she does here going into the Devil's Highway. Little toe action on the exit of turn 3. 1400s back. We'll check the next clock where she's at. Currently behind Meghan Henry.
She had a 600 leads on Henry entering this run.
2400.
Oh, losing more time, bleeding more time. Henry was pretty good down here. That's pretty good exit there.
108.8 though. She's down on
The
speed.
speed's way off. She could fall 2 or 3 places if she doesn't have any kind of speed here on the bottom.
She's a perfect chicane to have a chance. She's going to hit once, maybe
113.1.
twice. Big skid going into turn 17.
3/10. She's falling. Going to fall at least 2 spots unless she finds some magical line here in the bottom.
It's going to be hard going uphill. She's going to need to clean this.
It squeaks in there. Third, 56.76. Boy, third, 7,300 slower for her in the second run than the first run. A lot of inconsistency. 7,300's difference in that run from the first. That's not the track.
No, that was, it wasn't the ice conditions. I think it was Lake Placid track sneaking up and saying, hey, I'm still here and I'm still hard. You see her here, exit of turn 10. Pretty good
Shady
exit.
was great. The
Yeah,
exit
nice
down
looking
there.
exit. Little toe action, 11 to 12. But these are good lines. That's
Maybe.
not where it went away. This did not help her cause, though. We see her hit before the elbow, kicks the sled to the side. She doesn't trust it. Look, she's sideways, and that's just like being sideways on hockey skates.
Maybe too much steering.
Too much of a lot of things.
There you go. Our next, or here's our top 5. Meghan Henry, the United States, is in the lead. We got 15 sleds to go. Next athlete, top of the track from Russia, Alina.
Nope, this is Jane Chanel.
Jane Chanel scored. Thanks for the correction. Jane Chanel, the 3rd best start in the first run at a 5:22. One of the better athletes in the field.
See what she can do here, chasing down Meghan Henry.
She finished 10th in this race last year.
Comes out of the grooves clean. 5:24. Big start once again. 200s behind her last push, but anything in the 20s is fast. Little touch on the left wall. Exit at turn 1.
Well, the secret is use the start, get it out to 25 or 30 hundredths if you can. Hang on the bottom. It's down to 18 already. Maybe single digits. If she gets it up, still leaves it in the teens, in the exit of Shady, she'll have a chance. And the speed, she's going to need at least 110 speed.
High through Shady, takes the long way around. She's in red already, 108.2. She's going to drop one spot.
This seems like she should be going faster. She's losing speed quickly. She's 2 or 3 kilometers down.
Double tap going through the chicane. That's going to hurt. She's ahead of Greevil at the moment, but she's not going to catch Meghan Henry. The question is, she dropped 1 or 2 spots? 2. Falls behind the German Greevil.
Well, our American Meghan Henry lives for another day in the leader's box.
Climbing the order the hard way. And Jane, not too happy with that. A couple little mistakes. The long way around Shady. She was really high through there. Didn't get the push on the exit, so extra meters and low momentum is difficult.
When you have a start like that and lose all that speed by the time she gets to the halfway point, could that be runners? Could that be the way the setup of the sled is?
I mean, there's so many variables in the way these sleds keep becoming more and more advanced. I mean, is it a sled adjustment, runners? It could be a million different things. Hitting the wall going uphill, though, also does not help.
Not happy. Russia athlete Alina Terechnikova.
Oh, nice work. You got it.
That
one was good.
5:25. Great start in the first run. This another little diminutive Russian. They have 3 of them, and all 3 of them can run in this first 50 meters. In fact, Russians had 3 of the top 4 starts in the first run.
Big toe action, but 5:24. So another solid start. She's in the green by a quarter second right now over Meghan Henry.
Now the question is, she was great all the way down the track. She was 4th into the chicane.
But she was late in the turn 4 there, 2800s, but I think you're going to see it come back a little bit. She's a little bit off through the Devil's Highway.
Ooh, she had a tough transition there into 6.
She needs a good Shady. She's late going in.
110 at least speed. 108 way off the pace. This is going to be red numbers pretty quick.
She can do here through turn 14. She needs 114 speed to have a chance. 113.1. 400s back. It's going to be red numbers at the next mark. Question is, does she drop 1 or does she drop 2? Still
She's
in the green.
hanging in there. Hundredths, right to the 100th of a second. There it is, 300s. Meghan Henry moves up 1 more spot. She finished 12th here last week. Megan's getting up there near the 12th position now. She's picked off 3 athletes in the second run here.
Somebody get that girl a coat.
Well, this young Russian athlete, her first World Cup here. 2 events.
So your exit turn 3 here. So that comes over, takes the hit, and then the sled does not bounce back. And she goes as late into turn 4 as you can go.
So last week she finished 21st. This week she'll finish no worse than 14th. Pretty good improvement from one week to the next for this young Russian athlete there.
I believe first time to Lake Placid.
Placid, yeah, give her a lot of credit. Start time, top 4 start. She's got some talent. Next up from the United States, Savannah Gravely. Had the 22nd best start time, but brought it down to the 13th best finish. Tied. She's in a tie with the Russian athlete who just came down.
I bet you a coffee American's going to be in the lead after this heat.
You're very, very intelligent bet right there. So Savannah, teammate going against each other here.
Yeah.
You know, the one in the leader's box down there, Meghan Henry, and this young lady here played field hockey, right?
Yeah, university teammates, skeleton
American
teammates.
University, yeah. Pretty cool.
Savannah a little rough through
So
1,
American
2.
University is going to be in the lead here too at the bottom.
There you go. Make that coffee bet, we'll exchange.
Yeah.
Going through the highway, she's back a quarter second on her teammate.
Yeah, but she's a good glider.
Yeah, she knows this track. Former track record holder here until Miss Flock decided to just stomp on it. 2600, she stopped the bleeding. Nice exit of Shady, 110.1.
110, decent.
Better than her teammate.
Now she's going to have to get this down into the low teens.
She needs a good 14.
115.8. Awesome.
good
There's
speed.
There's the low teens. Now we got two Americans head to head. It's going to be right to the 100th of a second. Uphill needs to be clean. She's not. That's going to cost.
Oh! Into the lead.
By 400ths. They should both stay in the leader's box.
2 miles of ice,
That
400ths of a second.
hit though cost her 400ths.
Yep. Now that would have
6 800ths maybe.
She could have probably been up by a 10th. Yeah. There's a wad of athletes here within just a couple hundredths of each other.
55.88, then a 56.27, 3,900 slower than her first heat.
See, this is where it really went away though. Exit turn one, she comes over and just boom,
You
right
can't,
into the wall.
When you have a deficient start time, you can't make mistakes like that. But head down here, a lot of confidence coming through the chicane. Had some of the best speed. In fact, she does have the best speed of anybody, but this didn't help.
Double tap before the finish line. Yeah, that could be a 10th right there. But she's your leader. Always fun racing your friends.
And your teammates in college.
More fun beating your friends, but you know.
Next up from the Czech Republic, Anna Tova. Hard getting that Fernstad out of the way. Now she's changed countries. She went from competing for Germany, and then she's sliding for the Czech Republic because her grandmother's from the Czech Republic. And a very, very good slider. Fourth at the World Championships last year.
400s behind Miss Graybill at the 50-meter mark.
Not a very good first run, and she finished 7th in this event last week.
Textbook 3 to 4 though. This is where she's going to
Look
build
at this.
speed. Look
Yeah,
at that.
Watch out. She could put a big time run down and stay in that leader's box for 4 or 5 sleds because she didn't have a very good first heat. This is a good slider. 2100s, 111 speed. Yes,
exit
there it
of
is.
Shady.
This is what she does. We talked about her being a speed queen in the first heat, but she wasn't. But in this heat, look at the speed.
1:16.9, best speed we've seen so far. It's not a matter of whether she's going to be in the lead. It's how many spots can she jump up as she steps on the gas here.
Oh, she touches though. 55.70. Well, she went 55.83 in the first run, 1,300s better. That tells you how bad of a first run she had.
Yeah, she wasn't happy after the first run. She's a little happier after that one.
I think she's the only second athlete to go faster in the second run.
Well, exit is Shady like that. We call that snapping it off. You get that big push out of Shady, and that's where she got a chance to pull away there.
Well, that's the Anna we know right there.
Yep.
She's a speed merchant, gives up a lot of time at the start, 24th best start in the first run. Look at the lines. Has anybody come through there that clean?
Didn't give up any time
Not
there. Little touch on the wall here.
Look at the head down. You know, your chin is inches off the ice when you're looking. When you put your head down like that, how close is it?
Well, there's no paint on the front of these helmets for a reason. It's not because they hit it with sandpaper, I assure you that.
There's our leader.
Reason I'm sitting next to you in the commentary booth right now. There's the smile.
Next athlete, top of the track from Australia, Jacqueline Arcot, recently married to Dom Parsons, the British athlete who won a bronze medal at the Olympics in Pyeongchang, Korea. Jacqueline in a pretty good spot right here. Trying to achieve a top 10. 17th best start in the first run, 44. So 42, 43. See if she gets out of those grooves clean, not bad. 55. What happened there? That's a lot of time to give up.
And then hits the wall going into 2. That is going to make it difficult to hold this spot. She had a 10th in the bag. And big skid going into turn 4. You saw the toe action. 600, so it's falling back from 11 to 6.
Yeah, probably red numbers by the time we get to Shady here.
She's going to need a perfect bottom of the track. 300s. She's hanging in there. Nice exit of Shady. 111.3. Good speed. Hangs it out in 12.
Pretty
Little
good.
skid going into 13. She needs a great
116
14.
change. 116.2. It's down to 200s. I say it's going to be red going in the uphill section. Going to be close though. She's only going to drop 1 spot. There it is. Can she get through her clean? No.
Ooh,
big hit. 56.01. She's 55.80 in the first run. 2100s. That young Czech athlete went faster, only one of the 2 sleds that's gone faster in the first run, telling you she didn't have a very good first run. Pretty consistent for Jacqueline Arcot, though.
Looks like she might not be feeling so good.
Her combined time
Well, a pretty good hit out of the 19.
Exit turn 12, hanging it out. Comes through, you see the leg action. She kicks the wall. Exit turn 14. Trying to thread the needle. Or as your other partner, Bree Schaff, would say, lace the chicane. Bree, if you're listening, we say hello. Big
Hit there. That's probably knocked the wind out of her.
Yeah.
She finished 13th in the race last week. She can do no worse than 12th here.
Let me get that girl a cup of coffee.
Here's our results with 10 to go. The Czech, Anna Furston, Jacqueline Arcot, Savannah Gravely of the United States. Top 10 coming up.
2 minutes to Marina.
Well,
2-minute warning to Marina.
getting a little overcast again. Surprised at the times. We're seeing fast times by a couple of the individuals in the second run, but the first run, like the leader right there, if she could have had the second heat time, well, what would that have been, her time? 55. That would have put her up.
I put her in, I think, 8, like that. 7?
70. No, it only moved her up to 8th. She would have tied Kanakina with that time.
A lot of chutes and ladders being played right now, though.
Sure.
I mean, so far, what we see out of the first 10 athletes, everybody just kind of changed position. So it'd be interesting to see if that parity continues for the next 10 sleds. We'll have the Swiss girl, Marina Gilardoni, who's going to be up next.
Hey, this afternoon, 2 hours from now, we'll have men's skeleton for you here. Tomorrow we got an exciting lineup. We have 10 o'clock in the morning, 4-man bobsled, and then in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, we have women's bobsled, and then the second on Sunday, another 4-man bobsled race. I love having 2 4-man bobsled races on a weekend. It's like the World Championships where there's 2 heats each day. Here it's different though. It's 2 heats in a World Cup format.
Don't have to think about it as much overnight.
No, yeah, but still, there's some thoughts. Anna used to have those German colors on. 4th at the Olympic Games, and 4th at the World Championships last year for a different country. There's the Shady 2. Now, 200 yards through the woods, straight up that hill, is Shady 1. It was there from the old track and built for the 32 games and then modified for the 80 games. A couple different curves. Above it, there's a white-face curve, cliffside curve. They were also on the old track.
Hester gave Anna her hat, you can see.
Nice Christmas.
Track is clear to start 1 for Marina.
Welcome back to Lake Placid. There's our leader. We have 10 sleds to go here. And it's Marina Gilardoni from Switzerland will be the first one down on the final 10. She's looking to improve on her position last week. She's going to have a challenge. She had 9th last week.
She just pushed 525, improving on that 528 in the first heat. That'll help.
John Morgan and Greg West doing the commentary here this morning. 5,600th lead, pretty tough to throw that away, but she's not worried about 10th place. She wants to go up into this top 5 or 6 where she was last week.
A little rough going through the Devil's Highway, 4/10 of a second.
No,
108.
way back.
Ooh, now we got a race on our hands.
Yeah,
Is the track short enough?
She could bleed a lot of time back here because check it. Oh yeah, she's lost all her time. 2 kilometers down. So
she's gonna fall 1, maybe 2.
Ernestad Tova is going to be the leader for another sled at least. How many is he going to fall? 5th best time of the run, 56.12.
Drops 2 spots.
3,500 slower in her second run than her first run. Had to be something up top because she lost all speed.
Yeah, it looked like she lost it.
40 hundredths lead up top.
Yeah, she had a little trouble, 6, 7, 8, and that caused her to take the long way around Shady, and that adds meters and lowers your velocity, and that makes it really difficult to climb up the ranks.
Jacqueline Arcot moves up another spot too.
Exit 6, you see her leg flop up. She's a little early to 7, and that takes a lot of energy out of the sled. You see her flop out and hit her head on the exit of 7.
Toe came out there. That's where she lost a lot of time. This was pretty good.
Yeah, this is just a little skid.
Not bad, but just had no speed in the exit of Shady. That was the sign for us that something happened up there up top.
Yeah, it was over at that point. Great
Last week 6, she won't be 6 this week.
Track's clear to start 1 for Yulia.
Congratulatory. Now up to the top for one of the better starters in the field, Yulia Kanakina, the former ballet dancer. Looks like she's put a few pounds on. It's tough to talk about female athletes doing that, but I think she wanted to take advantage of the new rule.
5:19 in the first heat, 5:18 improves by 1/100th of a second. She's got basically 6/10 or a country mile in the bank as she goes into turn 2.
She's got the great start, but the race doesn't end at Shady. If the race ended at Shady, she'd be in the medals, but she's had some problems on the bottom part of this track, and that's 6,700s. That's not safe.
Little off from the Devil's Highway early into 8. Let's check the next marker. She's up 6,700s, down to 45, so she's down on speed.
109, 107. Some of the worst speed we've seen, and this time's going to continue to bleed single digits maybe here at the next clock. Oh, she's already behind in the red. Boy, if the race ended at Shady, she'd be in the medals, but there's a little bit more comes down the track.
See how far she
gonna
drops.
fall
Probably
4
4 spots.
Bang.
Double tap.
8th best time, 56.61. She is almost a full second, 9,100 slower than her first run. That says it all.
Ties Sophia Greevil.
Yeah, so there she's moved up 5 spots, or she dropped 7 spots. Wow. Pretty much what she did last week. And she finished 7th at the World Championships in 4 heats last year in Whistler. So not a good start to the season for the second best starter in the field.
It's a nice looking form on the start ramp. The Russians are so linear when they push. You don't see energy going side to side, but you did see some energy going side to side down the track as you see a couple places she's offline here. She's going to get into 8 too early. See it knocks the sled away. The foot comes up and then exit turn 14, clips left. And that doesn't look like much, but man, that hurts. It feels like somebody puts a belt sander down here.
Pretty diminutive. Okay, now to Madeline Smith from Great Britain. She's ready to post one of her best times, best results ever.
And Maddie is already happy with her results so far after the first heat. She was in quite the hole last week.
Same exact start as she had in the first run.
4/10 up on Anna from the Czech Republic. Nice looking 1-2.
She's gonna need it.
Madeline looking for a little bit of redemption after last week. Nice run into turn 4, a little cleaner than her first run. 4,200s in the bank in the Devil's Highway.
That doesn't mean anything. We've seen that the last 3 out of 4 sleds. Madeline finished 19th last week in the event. Needless to say, she's ready to get herself into the top 10 with some good lines here in the bottom.
42 down to 2,300s lead. We'll check the next split. She needs good speed at the bottom.
Nice lines,
Already
300, 115.1. This is 4th so far. Still make a big improvement from last week for her.
British sleds just haven't had the speed today. I think they maybe missed it on the run.
6th best time of the run, 56.15. Wow, 47, a full half second slower. So Anna lives in the leader's box at least for another sled. She should be. She shouldn't have been back in that spot in the first place.
Yeah, she had her first run to forget, but boy, she threw down a good one on the second. Miss Madeline Smith, always happy. She told us, reminded us to say nice things. And so
Ferdstatova lives for another one, though. She's picked off 3. Madeline Smith, though, can do no worse than, what is she in? So no worse, that's a top 11 compared to 19th in the last week's race. So improve every competition. That's the goals.
See her exit turn 14 here. Right down the pipe. There's a little skid there in a second, but I think the energy was already out of the sled at that point.
Good run. Thank you.
Camaraderie in the sport, as you know, close-knit sport. Tina Herman from Germany, world champion a couple times now. Last year in Whistler. Average starter, 3rd in this event last week.
Had a 5:41 in the first heat, looking to improve it, chasing down her former teammate. 5:42 is a little bit slower. Got 4,600s in the bank though, and the Germans bring big speed late. Nice run through turn 3. A little bit late into turn 4 though. She's gonna have to correct it in the highway if she wants to put her foot on the gas.
Well, 4,300s isn't safe. We've seen that the last 4 out of 5 sleds. But this is a pretty accomplished slider.
310's coming down. Got a race on our hands. 110-2, down on speed.
Perfect. Ooh. Slide there.
Little hit going into turn 13. Right down the pipe.
116.7. This has got to be the leader. She's only 0.2 of a kilometer down, but this should be enough in the bank.
See at the line.
2,300s, 55.73. Well, there's a decent run.
Dirk doesn't look very happy.
1,600 slower than her first run. Maintained it on the bottom. You know, she had the big lead up top relative to the start. But I don't think that's going to be a medal run.
I don't think that'll move her up. Definitely holds her spot, but she's got some firepower in front of the chase.
She wasn't happy with her first run. You can tell there.
See here on the start, was there a slip or something? No drama there.
Again, she's an average starter. 15th best start in the first run. Less than average.
Exit turn 3. You see her take the tap in the wall. The sled does not bounce back across.
On the wrong side of that straightaway, though, right? Don't you want to cross over, get in the left-hand side of our screen?
Yep. See her clip the wall going into turn 13. Just a couple of little mistakes there, but she is your leader. 6 to go.
Last week's silver medalist in this event from Austria, Janine Flock. Had the 18th best start time in the first run with a 5:46. Should be equal, maybe 100 or 2 slower. 42. Wow, not many people have got 600s better in the first run.
She knows how to get down this track. She's the current track record holder at a 54.69. We're not going to see that with this ice today, but we'll see if she can put a move on the medals here.
She has a chance to medal with a really good run here. She's only about 20 hundredths out of a medal.
Looking run through the Devil's Highway.
Look at the form. I mean, she's only 1,500 something.
Pulling away a bit, clips the left wall again. 111.1.
It's pretty good.
Good speed, better than her first heat. Do the speed check here. She needs 116 mid or high.
Right down the middle. 116.9. 21. She's going to pull away. Question is now, is this a good enough run to put herself in the medals for the second consecutive week? Janine Flock from Austria, the leader, 55.57, 300 slower than her first run. As consistent as it can be right there.
I could be pretty happy with that. Has almost a 2/10 lead over the German Tina Hermann.
Other athletes put on a few pounds to take advantage of the new rule.
See if this time will hold up over Kim Meilemans, Kendall Westenberg, Morella Reneva, Lolling, and Nicotina. 5 sleds to go. Good looking run there from the Austrian, though. We see exit turn 3 nice and low. Energy's going forward, takes the tap, no drama, comes back over right down the pipe into turn 4, then going right through the Lake Placid sign through Shady. She comes out and clips this left wall just a bit like she did on her first run, but it was enough for her to be the leader.
Well, the form, she's one of those speed queens. Congratulations. Let's move on. Kim Meilemans. Look at her. Janine Flock's the leader. Next up, Kim Meilemans from she had probably what I think the most textbook run in the first run. Watch the way this young lady keeps her head down on the ice, doesn't look what's in front of her.
5.40, down a little bit from that 5.35 she had in the first heat. Great looking exit of turn 1 though. She's got 700s in the bank right now.
Lives in Elkin, Belgium.
Takes the tap, beautiful run into turn 4 in the Devil's Highway. She's got 500s in the bank, so she's giving a little bit back.
But this is, look at her head down. That first run was textbook. She was on a rail. 600s back. So 111 speed. 109. Doesn't have the speed. She's going to fall back.
She's going to have a perfect bottom of the track if she wants a chance to hold her spot. That's not going to be easy going against the Austrian
Again,
clock.
look at her head down, and she's skating 115.9. That's not the speed. Now the question is, how many spots is she going to fall? It's like 2 at least.
Third at the moment when she hit the line.
8th best time of the run. She falls 3 spots. 56.15. Janine Flock moves up 1, and there is 6,500 slower. So where Janine Flock went 300 slower, Kim Malmens from Belgium almost over a half second slower. You got to be consistent, Kyle. Excuse me, Greg.
Kyle, trust when you're watching this back.
Well, didn't we just watch him at the top? But hey, not the same run she had in the first heat.
Now, she had a smoke in the first heat, couple small mistakes, nothing terrible in this run, but
Good
when you're going
form
against this field, you have to be next to perfect. But yeah, Janine Flock moves up one, Tina Herman, Anna Fernstadt, all up spots with 4 sleds to go.
Next up is from the United States, Kendall Wessenberg from Modesto, California. Favorite food is from In-N-Out Burger. There's the leader, Janine Flock. Wessenberg medaled in this race last year. Finished 6th last week.
Kendall, an accomplished slider. Went to the Olympics for the U.S. in 2018.
Got a 1200s lead on Flock. They get similar starts. 5:52 she had in the first run. Flock improved. Kendall Wessenberg 200 slower.
Start time for Kendall.
Kendall knows how to fly. She's going to need a perfect top of the track, and boy, to match Flock's time down below.
Dead heat after the first 50 meters. Kendall back in the red a little bit here, but she knows how to build speed, and she's doing it.
Gets 111 plus speed on the exit of Shady. She has a chance to put herself in medal position. 111 speeds, what we're looking for. 110.6.
Close. It's a really good chicane in 14. Back in the
Red
red.
numbers.
Back and forth, back and forth. We got a race on her hands. Shoots through the
600's
chicane.
back, 116. That's not the speed Flock's had.
She's got to find that magic line through turn 19 if she wants a chance to hold the spot.
Got to be clean here. She is. It's not enough. 1100s, 4th best time of the heat. 55.80. She'll drop 1 spot. She can do no worse than 5th. Still has a chance to medal. 55.49 in the first row, 55.42 and a 55.80, 2,800, 3,800 slower. Remember, Flock went 300 slower.
Kendall guaranteed a top 5 on her home track. Mom and her sister up top watching, cheering her on. Tough of the tour, carrying her sled, saying hi to all the fans. Always a fun thing to do with the school kids coming out in Lake Placid.
200 slower, doesn't sound like much, but Flock went 400s better. So the start, every 100th, as we know, Greg, that every 100th counts, especially at the top 50 meters.
Aggressive line through the chicane, comes out, just barely clips that left wall. She'll be happy with the top 5. Always want to be in the medals. Fits pretty good.
Yeah, Mimi Revive coming up now, that from Canada, from Ottawa, who just missed a medal last week. She's in a medal position this week. I think she was in the top 3 position last week going into the second run. So she's going for her first medal of the season.
5:26. Big start, proves by 200ths of a second on her first run. And a good exit of turn 1 to keep the momentum going.
Well, the better start than Flock. Now it's just up to this Canadian athlete to bring it down.
Good run into the Devil's Highway. She's got 55 hundredths of a second, a half second in the bank over the Austrian going into Shady.
It's a lot of time, but
Pulling away.
This track, we know that there's gremlins out all over the place.
1:10.3, down on speed, hangs it out a little bit in Shady. She's still up a half second though. We'll check it in the chicane. 4/10.
That's a lot. 4th in this race last year in February. 4th in this race last year, or last week here. So this could be the first ever podium for Mimi Ravina from Canada. Oh, she did.
Dropped one.
How did she lose that?
Where did that
Look
go?
at even Flock is surprised. How did she lose 4/10 on the last 200 meters?
2/10 of a second from turn 18 to 19, and I don't know where it went. I already kind of moved on and talked about how
I was
she was
already
in the
giving her
leaders
the
box.
medal. When you have 4/10 on the exit of chicane, the speed wasn't that bad.
Maybe something happened when the camera transitioned. Did she skid? She drop a toe?
Well, she's 4th
take a
last
vacation?
year. Boy, she still has a chance, but
Exit Shady, comes out and clips that left wall, but she was still up on speed at this point. That's just, you know, that's skeleton. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. couple of little
Mimi
things.
Reneva, how did we miss this? This doesn't look that bad.
Little late in the 17, clipping that wall, but that's not a 4/10 mistake. Doesn't hit the wall going
She's got her
uphill.
head down there.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
What have you done?
So Janine Flock wins a medal again for the second consecutive week. What color? Well, we're going to find out here real quick. One of the best sliders in the world, Jacqueline Mulligan, second in this event last week.
See what Mulligan can do here on the start. She's done a lot of work to improve it this year. 5:48 in the first heat, was 19th fastest. 5:47, so 14th fastest start time.
I stand corrected. She won this event last week. She was second at the World Championships to Tina Herman last year. And this is the queen of speed here. You know, gets the starts the way she does, but watch her form as she comes down the track.
Quarter of a second to bank. She went in on the wrong side of the track in turn 4, so that is not going to help a ton, but a nice looking line through 8 and 9.
2100s, but this is where she's magical, at the high speed part of the track. 110.5 is not the great speed we've seen from some other sleds.
Jacqueline Arcot actually had the best speed of 111.3 through there. 117.1 is, though.
Yeah.
That will extend
really
her lead.
high there, though.
Check the time with the marker. She's up 1300ths of a second. Is going to be close to the line.
600s, bled all time all the way back. So Jacqueline Mulligan, she can do no worse than a silver medal here. And if you match that with last week's medal, no matter what, she's going to be the World Cup leader at the end of this race. Because Nicotina finished 5th, so even if Nicotina wins, Mulligan will have enough points to advance.
Not the run she was looking for. That run would have put her 12th in the first heat.
Yeah, she was a little slower, but the 14th best start. But look at the form. You know, she's the tallest athlete in the field.
Yeah, I look up to her by about an inch. So you're
Head
telling me
down.
Turn 14, chin
Any
strap
spray coming
flapping.
off the runners? Not bad. High there, though. I caught that up near the lip of the I Love New York, the heart curve, they call it. She's the leader with 1 to go. Elena Nicotina from Russia.
Start record alert. Watch for it. She was close with the slip in the first heat.
5:07 in the first heat. 5:03 is the start record that she owns.
5:07.
Okay, that's still way better than anybody else. She's got a half-second lead. I mean, this
Make it
is her race
9/10.
to lose.
9/10 in the bag after the start ramp. This is as close to a victory lap as possible, but Lake Placid can sneak up on you, although she's extending at the moment.
Look what happened to Reneva. Just, out of nowhere, the track got her on the bottom. But look at the form here. She looks way more confident than last week. Look at, she's got a second-plus lead.
Clips the right wall in the exit, 111.6 though. That is pretty good speed.
5th place last week. Not going to be a 5th today. She's still maintaining the lead. 116 kilometer speed.
She's gonna win it by over a second.
There was the field, and then there was Elena Nicotina. She blew the field away, 55-17. Wow. 4100s. Jacqueline Mulligan can look on and say, I can't compete with that at the start. When Nicotina can come down the track like that with the start advantage, she's almost impossible to beat.
Yeah, I mean, if you push that fast and then drive those lines, not only did she have the fast start, but she had some of the fastest speeds at each split. She's on another planet right now. So the 2 fastest runs.
Just athlete on this young lady here. For her to be able to be so much better than everybody else at the start. She's a 10th better than her Russian teammates who are the top 3 starters in the field. And she's won a lot of races. That's her signature.
She's your
Not
winner.
often you see somebody win by a second in this sport that's measured to hundreds of seconds. You know, in men's skeleton, we've seen that Superman guy, Ducars, do it a few times. A second in 2 heats. The World Championships 4 heats, maybe.
Yeah,
but to win by a second in 2 heats is remarkable.
Yeah, a second between first and second, 400ths between second and third. So there was a race within a race, as you would say. But Nicotina takes the gold. Lolling sitting.
There's a second between second and 11th. That's what she did. She blew the field away. Alina Nicotina, Lolling in second. Flock, second medal in a row for her. Boy, Mimi, second week in a row, 4th place, just out of the medals. Savannah Gravely in 11th. We'll give you our World Cup standings after we come back after the break. Wow, still shocked?
Yeah, that was a beatdown.
Well, Janine, look at the start times. You don't see this in men's skeleton. Of course, the best start won, then the 15th best start, then the 11th best start, then in 5th and 6th with 17 and 11, in 7th the 20th best start. Wow.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see those start numbers in the men's competition.
Women's skeleton is definitely a more finesse, where the men's skeleton these days is just brute force on the start ramp. You have to have an amazing start to have a chance in guys skeleton. Kendall Wessenberg improves from 6th to 5th on her home track with her family looking on.
Beach Tina Herman.
Anna Fernstedt just out of the medals again in 7th, second consecutive week. Kim Miles falls back. She was sitting in 5th, I believe, after the first heat, falls back to 8th. Jacqueline Arcot was unhappy with her run and moves up from 11th to 9th.
So change of weather coming here in Lake Placid. You know, we have this afternoon, 2 o'clock, men's skeleton, second World Cup of the season. And then tomorrow, 10 o'clock, 4-man bobsled. And then in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, a women's bobsled second heat. And then on Sunday, another treat, more 4-man bobsled at 10 o'clock. Welcome back to Lake Placid. Here's our World Cup standings. Jacqueline Lolling, the leader. Janine Flock in second. Nicotina from 5th to 3rd. Mimi Reneva from Canada solidly in 4th. Boy, some great sliding here today. Nicotina went from 5th last week all the way to 1st with start times and then a result of winning by 1 second, which, Greg, I'm still astonished that someone can win by a second in a 2-heat race.
Yeah, when you push as faster than half of the guys' field's going to push, and you put down a run like she put down, you're going to leave everybody. That's just the nature of the beast. She's on another level in the start ramp, and her driving continues to improve, and I think that is really scary for the women's field.
She's got a teammate in the men's field named Trechikov. We gave him the Russian rocket name 15 years ago. He owns all the track records at the start. She now owns all the track records at the start. We're going to have to find a female Superman out of her. I mean, she's unbelievable. And when she's on her line, she wasn't on her line last week, maybe she set the sleds up differently, because she was awesome in both runs. There's the Flock on the right, Lolling on the left. Take a look at those 3 athletes. You're going to be seeing a lot of them the rest of the season. Nicotina with her first gold medal of the season, most likely not when she, or not her last, when she gets to those tracks that are only 1,400 meters. Hey, so for my broadcast team and my broadcast partner, Greg West, hey, remember, we're going to be back here at 2 o'clock for men's skeleton. So for all my team here, I'm John Morgan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a couple hours.